Our next guest may have watched that scene from The Sopranos when he wrote this in his new book. Over the years, many metaphors have been used to describe the Clintons. Among the most common is their similarities to the mafia. Okay, online editor for the Weekly Standard, Daniel Halper, is the author of the new book, Clinton Inc., The Audacious Rebuilding of a Political Machine, and Daniel joins us now. Also at the table, the editor-in-chief of NationalMemo.com, and a man who has covered the Clintons extensively, Joe Coniston.
Somebody got very, very distraught.
Yes,
I had brought Joe Coniston on here.
Hi,
I was going to throw red meat in the middle.
No.
And I was going to have Daniel and Joe scrap and tear apart each other, but they stayed in the green room too long, and they like each other now.
What happened?
The problem is, well, first of all, Daniel explained to me why the mafia metaphor is actually positive, and I'm sure he can tell you the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I've always thought of that as a positive.
So Daniel wasn't positive.
Well, there's this notion that you're once in and you're never out. You're sort of always a part of Clinton world, even when you leave. But at the same time, the only people that are really there and really on top of it are the family. And it's the centrality of the family, Bill, Hillary, and now Chelsea, that makes the metaphor apt. At least when I was reporting, that's something that I kept on hearing.
I've actually used the metaphor for Congress. You never get, I said it's like The Godfather. You never, and it's the same thing with the Clintons, but I say this all the time. You never get credit for being loyal 95% of the time.
Yes.
And it's sort of that way with the Clintons, too, with reporters and everything else, right? They expect loyalty.
There's a kind of a bunker thing, and they do expect loyalty. But is that different from the Kennedys or the Bushes or the other political dynasties?
I was telling Daniel I was interviewing somebody for my book, somebody who worked for, who was a chief of staff for President Clinton in the foundation, and at some point I said to her, what was it like when you said goodbye to him? And she looked at me like I was an idiot, and she said, Joe, don't you know that with them there is no goodbye?
There is no.
But that can be good or a bad thing.
It was for a positive. I mean, she didn't think they were going to kill her if, you know.
Exactly.
She was loyal for good reasons.
What do we learn in this book?
What do we learn in this book about the rebuilding of this political machine after the huge setback in 08?
Right, so that's, well, actually, it starts before that. It starts scandal-ridden White House, impeachment.
Right.
And when they leave the White House, what do? They try to rebuild relationships with Republicans. They reach out to George
Bush. They had a rough exit with Mark Rich. Hillary's first year was just cleaning up Bill's mess. And
Bill Clinton was personally depressed. It was a low moment for them in life. And I try to tell the story of how they came to where they are, and threatening a return to the White House again in 2016. And that's a remarkable political story. To Gene's point earlier, the point of the book is, you could make these certain comparisons about other political families, and that's kind of the point of the book. It's to explain politics and how politics works, but it uses the people who are the best at it, Bill, Hillary, Clinton. They are the best. Their story, it's applicable in other ways to other stories, and that's what I'm telling you.
Let me ask you, Daniel, what happened in 2008? Because I remember in 2006 and 2007, and saying this to Mika, that there was no way that this young senator from Illinois could take on the Clinton machine, that they would grind his political bones to dust. Don't you understand Clinton Inc.? Don't you understand the mafia? Don't you understand blah, 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 blah? And kaboom. It was a house of cards that fell down. Why won't it be that way in 2016?
Well, to answer your first question, first they get out of the White House, they build these relationships with Republicans, but what they don't realize is that they have a massive problem with Democrats, and Democrats are disappointed that 8 years have led to, the 8 years of George W. Bush are a result of the Clintons, and it's because of that disappointment they go with the person they don't know, Barack Obama, over the person they do know, Hillary Clinton. It's a big slap in the face. But she never faced Republican voters. It was Democrats who didn't vote for her. So the problem was that they didn't shore up Democratic support. Joining the State Department is a big boon to shoring up Democratic support.
So there's a contention that also Clinton Inc. may be quashing any Democrat opponents now.
Yes.
That's the
idea,
that. Right?
Well, look at Joe Biden and Joe Biden's...
How are they doing? How are they?
If you could, if you thought you might want to be president,
we have a democratic system. She's very popular. It has not that much to do with Clinton Inc. The reason she's popular is because of her record in the Senate and her record as Secretary of State and the popularity of her husband's administration. I mean, that's, you can't say they're not quashing somebody else from running. Anybody.
Well, I know. I'm asking Daniel because in his book you talk about fundraisers that are maybe being put to work to do so.
Right. They've been working, I think, for the last 20 years, essentially, for a Hillary Clinton presidency. This is something they've had in mind, or Hillary, at least, has had in mind since 92, 93. She was talking about, aides were talking about it in the White House then. They realized this was an ambition of hers. She needed to shore up Democratic support, so joining the State Department is a way to do that. Joining Obama ranks, Obama Democrats, and what they're people like Martin O'Malley, people like Liz Warren, what they've done is they've built relationships with all these Democrats. The book is really about relationships as well, and it's about how the Clintons understand how humans work. They understand on a human level that talking to people, saying nice things to people, and working, can charm people. Nobody's safe from Bill Clinton's charm, and by charming various Democrats, they've already been able to get a lot of support. You have Ready for Hillary and all these other institutions that are up and running and trying to shove everybody out of this market.
So, Daniel, a couple things really quickly. First of all, you say Bill Clinton is a classic narcissist. That's like saying the sky's blue. We're not going to examine that. Chelsea Clinton, though, you say 2016 de facto campaign manager.
Right. Sometime around the 2008 campaign, Chelsea Clinton decided to join the family business. And like any other family business, when a family member comes in, she automatically jumps to the top. And so the same here is with Chelsea Clinton. I tell this story of some aides to Bill Clinton. They wanted to start a consulting company. That consulting company was going to be global and reach out, and it exists today and it's doing well. Chelsea Clinton asked for equity in that consulting company in a private meeting. She was said no, and now the aides are no longer close to the Clintons.
Yeah,
and
that's not a smart move.
Well, that wasn't a smart thing.
Don't say no to the daughter.
Right.
Say no to my daughter.
So exactly.
The full story of that meeting will be in my book. But that's
But it goes to show.
I do, just very quickly, though, I do, just for the record, I know people who are close to Bill Clinton, who are close to Hillary Clinton, who are close to them out of this really intense personal loyalty. Because they really believe in these people and really believe in who they are. And,
but it's also Washington, D.C. They're also
like voters, too. I mean, one of the things I was going to say is that whatever Chelsea decides to do with the foundation or the campaign, I'm sure, Secretary Clinton will be there with her, and she'll want her there. But the reason that it's hard for somebody to get money together or get a campaign together to challenge her is, I mean, Elizabeth Warren has already written a letter to her saying you should run, and signed with all the other women Democratic senators. It's hard to go back on that and say, well, actually, I'm going to run against you. And they look at poll numbers, among Democrats at least, it's 80%.
It really
are for Hillary.
So
what do you do about that?
I know.
Not bad.
All right, Daniel, thank you for coming on.
The book is
Thank you.
Joe Conason, he didn't say anything on the back about how great
They
it was.
forgot to ask
but
me.
he has endorsed the book. But let's have you guys back. Let's continue this conversation.
I'm sure his endorsement will be on the paperback.
Joe Conason, thank you.
This will be on mine. So
Exactly.
All right, coming up, full analysis of the July jobs report.